I just want to throw it out there because I know there's a lot of women out there with side hustles, often thinking that, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore, just rely on the 9 to 5, because people in their world around them might be saying, well, you're not really making any money. Do you really have a business? How did you tune out those messages to focus on moving into what you truly love?
That's a great question because there definitely are a lot of women who are thinking about it or have started. And it's exactly what you actually said. It's staying in your own lane. We've been taught in our world to really look outside ourselves for answers. We look outside ourselves for guidance. We look outside ourselves, for what we're supposed to do and who we're supposed to be. We're looking for all these indicators outside of ourselves. But if you actually want to be truly happy and truly fulfilled, the answers need to come from within yourself. And so it's tapping into yourself and connecting to yourself is how you'll actually keep aligned and keep yourself moving towards what is most important to you.
That's so interesting because the other thing I think about is when you shared that, in your bio that you found yourself in a place of feeling unfulfilled, lacking meaning per se
Yeah.
in what you were doing. What was that time frame? Can you share with us what that time frame felt like for you as you pivoted and you moved into doing more of what you love? What was the realization? What were you awakened to?
Oh, so much. Honestly, Deborah, so much. I mean, my life changed dramatically in 2005, 2006. I had a daughter who was born, and she had some health issues. And, whenever we go through something major in life, it changes our perspectives. It completely changes who we are. And through a process of 2 years of figuring out what was wrong with her, I completely changed as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And that process continued. And I realized as I went through this, the reasons why I started my career as a CPA didn't exist anymore. Like I'd started it because I'm good at math. Okay, which is just, I'm good at it, but I don't actually love it. I like it. However, I don't love it. And honestly, I became a CPA because I knew there'd always be jobs available to me. And those aren't really great. Like they're great reasons when you start out, but they're very much survival. That's a very much survival mindset. And so when I went
Yeah.
through changes in my personal life and started to really think about, well, what do I want? Who am I? I discovered I don't actually fit this anymore. And it's an interesting journey because most women I work with have known for a really long time they're in the wrong career. They've known it deep in their soul. But you know what we do? We keep doing this because we've got to pay the bills. But
Yeah.
after a while, it gets to this place where you're just, I can't do this anymore. And that's what happened with me. I'm like, I can't wake up every morning feeling drained, feeling exhausted, and getting to the end of my day where I'm the same feeling. I just got nothing left in me for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a long, really long journey for me to figure out. Of course, this whole time I was a single parent. So the pressure of providing was really, really significant and large for me. However, also recognizing that I want to teach my daughters lessons about like going after your dreams, doing what feels good, listening to yourself, and all those beautiful lessons that, I really wanted to teach them. So it was a lot going on over a long period of time that ultimately led to me making a change.
Wow. And it is those major life events that really shift who we are. And it is, I like to say that some of the challenges we face are taken, feels like a 2x4 hit you at the beginning. But in actuality, if you look in hindsight, the compassion and grace of some of those lessons that came to develop who you were as a person. And I find it fascinating the more and more women I talk to who have faced these challenges, who've shifted in their careers, it is the resilience and the foresight and the vision that they now have for themselves with such greater confidence and conviction. It's mind-blowing sometimes.
That is so true. It often really is those moments you realize, actually, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. Because
Yes.
that's what it did for me too. Like when I was faced with having to figure out what was wrong with my daughter, I was up against a medical system that wasn't supporting me. I didn't have family supporting me. I didn't have all these things going on. I was, a one woman on a mission. And after going through that, yeah, you have this whole new perspective of, wow, I'm actually stronger. I can do this. And that's when doors also really begin to open,
Yeah.
right?
And it's fascinating. Like, this is the part that I just, again, you see it in hindsight, but also when you're looking forward, when you've made these big decisions, where those doors to opportunity that you didn't think would open, suddenly there's these openings and these opportunities, and you're like, whoa, how come I didn't make these decisions before, right? Because you weren't
Oh my
ready.
gosh. And when I look back on my life, I don't have a lot of regrets because I always think
Yeah.
everything happened for a reason. It's gotten me to where I am. However,
Yeah.
one I do have is not doing this sooner. Of course, I suppose there was reasons why I didn't, that
Yeah.
could be valid. However, you just can't see what's up ahead from where you're standing. You can't possibly
Yeah.
know unless you actually take the steps, right? So it's a bit of a catch 22, right? To try to
Yeah.
figure out, how do I move forward? What's it going to look like? And then looking back and seeing it all so much more clarity.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into some more of the questions, but I loved hearing about your journey, and I think there's many women out there who are going to resonate, even men who listen to the show will resonate, that, when you're sitting in a place that your why is no longer serving you, that it's time for a shift. So my next question is, what are some of the common challenges that women face in transitioning careers or even starting a new business?
I would say probably the biggest couple ones certainly are, first of all, is confidence,
Mm,
is really confidence. Often when you get to the point when you realize you're really unhappy, you've been there too long. Like we talk about, like, not doing things, right? And so
yeah.
you get to a point where you've been in the wrong place. And let's face it, when we know we're in the wrong place, our confidence diminishes and it just continues and continues and continues. So you get to that point where you know you're in the wrong place, that you don't have actually the confidence to make a switch.
Hmm.
So that's why, a lot of women were like, well, what can I switch to right away? They want to know right away, what is it? What is it? What is it? And they want to just like land right into it. And I'm always like, no, we've got to take a step back here. We've got to build you up, understand you, what's going on with you, and tap into your unique gifts and brilliance and all those things that's actually going to light the fire within you again. Because until you do that, it's just you're going from a place of lack and scarcity and low self-esteem and low self-worth. Well, you're not going to be able to find what lights you up when
Yeah.
you're in that place, right? So that's one of the biggest hurdles I see.
One of the images that came to mind as you were talking, it was seeing a fireplace, or, a fire pit that people sit around while they're camping. And it's almost like the parallel is that we're down to the ashes, the embers that are still hot, but there's no more flame. And when you're talking about the confidence, we kind of got to stoke it up to, like you said, to understand what's going on, for that flame to burn again. And that's the first metaphor, that kind of vision that came to me, is like, oh, she's talking about these embers. In my mind, that's what it is. It's just like, you maybe been there so long that you know everything so routinely by heart that but you can do it in your sleep, but it doesn't get you excited.
Doesn't get you excited. And also I find is when this is one thing that's really, really important is if you're in a current career where your needs aren't being met, you get drained every day. If you think
Mm,
about it, like if you're constantly draining your cup each day, and that's also where women come to the place of where they're so drained, so they just have no energy to even. So never mind their confidence, their energy is low. So the combination
yeah.
of the two, you really do need to put those logs in the fire, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then the next metaphor, as soon as you said that, I have a kid's swimming pool that you're sitting in, and the pool is draining, not the water, but the air from the pool, the blow up pool, and the water is leaking out while you
Yeah,
sit there and watch it all go away.
yeah, yeah.
So, in your experience, what are some tangible strategies for overcoming both real and perceived barriers in career transition?
A lot of it really is mindset. So what I find is we tend to get stuck in story, right? And here's the thing, a lot of these stories are actually real. Like when we talk about the barriers, often they're very, very real. And so it's not about pretending they're not there. It's just choosing whether you actually want to kind of like quote unquote buy into that. Like, is it the story I'm going to choose to believe, even though it's
Yeah.
there? You look at even like the recession right now, it stops a lot of people from making, whether it's job changes, whether it's, making the career transition. And for me personally, I just choose to ignore the fact that what's going on in the economy. I can see it. I know what's going on. I'm not in denial about it. However, I can choose a different reality. And that's what we need to start doing, going, it's there, but I'm going to choose something different for myself and then
Right.
follow that path.